KSGF Mornings with Nick Reed on 104.1 KSGF, Springfield's News Talk FM.
We're going to talk with State Rep Eric Burleson here in just a few moments. We've got Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder with us. And, man, I hate that every time we talk to you, it's something just insane seems to be going on. And we've got insane people calling the shots. But that, unfortunately, is the world we live in. And now we've got this situation in which a number of governors, including one Democrat governor, is sort of pleading with the president, please just don't let these refugees in. The refugees themselves are that's great, and we understand their plight, but we also know that terrorists are using them as a way to get into countries, as they did France, in order to carry out terrorist attacks, and we need to not do this. And the level of frustration I have, and then I want to get your thoughts on it, is I just don't think they care. I think Obama doesn't care. I think they don't care about the national security implications, and so there's just this level of frustration a lot of people have that we're left sitting ducks here as citizens. Your thoughts?
Well, Nick, thank you for having me again. Out of the Lieutenant Governor's office day before yesterday, I was the first one to put out a letter, an open letter that I sent to Governor Nixon, urging him not to admit Syrian refugees. Within hours, and then within the next 24 hours, a number of others followed my lead in calling on the governor not to let them in. The governor, who let us down a year ago so badly and so historically on Ferguson, and who last week brought another Ferguson to the campus of the University of Missouri in Columbia, this time has once again defaulted to the feds and abdicated his own leadership responsibility and turned our security over to the Obama White House and the executive branch who answered to the Obama White House, instead of standing up the way 32 other governors had and said, we do not want these Syrian refugees at this time within the borders of Missouri. They cannot be vetted. They cannot be screened properly. We don't know who we're admitting. So let's say we admit 10,000. What if a fraction of 1% of them are terrorists with bogus identification that we know ISIS prints in their own print shops, but a bogus passport that they print, and we get several hundred terrorists in here in the influx of Syrian refugees? That is what we are at risk. And Governor Nixon apparently is okay with that, as Obama is. Now, let me just say, I just saw the former FBI man, James Kallstrom, on the tube, and he was saying, we had just heard from the president's national security advisor, and former FBI man Kallstrom said, this guy had a degree in fine arts. What does he know about the national security of the United States of America? The answer is nothing. These are the people President Obama has put in charge, and we have a president who is detached from reality, who mocks the critics of Syrian refugees. Here's what I want to know, Nick. Where do Democrats stand on this? Have you asked Claire McCaskill where she stands on this? Does she stand with the people of Missouri who have a right to expect that their elected officials will stand up and protect them, or does she stand with this president who she helped get in office?
Yeah, and I know she's been supportive as of late to the idea of this. And there are so many questions that I really wish would be asked. One of those questions would be whether the vetting process that they claim will be used in order to make sure terrorists don't get in here to the United States is the same vetting process that allowed for the two refugees that became the Boston bombers. Is it the same vetting process that was used there? This is history repeating itself.
Well, FBI Director Comey has testified in public that he has 1,000 currently active investigations into ISIS or ISIS-like or ISIS-inspired would-be terrorists. Now, it takes several FBI agents to cover everyone, to track everyone. They're working 12-hour shifts, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We have the report that the FBI is very worried about the upcoming holiday season.
Yeah.
We have other reports I saw one last night where a former terrorist, now more recently a double agent for the CIA, he is convinced that ISIS intends to hit us in the next 2 weeks. Another former FBI agent said that the whole Paris operation last Friday appeared to him to be a practice run to see how much mayhem, murder of innocents they could accomplish in a short period of time as a dry run to hit someone else. Now, they want to bring that kind of murder and mayhem to the Mall of America in Minnesota, or to Busch Stadium in St. Louis, or to Rush Street in Chicago. They're trying to come here. And our president wants to let more of them in. I think it's a very low point in the history of this country, and I think we all have to stand up and push back however we can, and that includes the U.S. Congress defunding this and eliminating the president's ability to pull this off.
We're talking with Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder. I'm trying to think if in my lifetime, and I'm not aware of it, if there has ever been a time where a person in a position of leadership in the United States, be it president or any other position, has so almost defiantly put the United States in harm's way. I mean, it's just, I understand you have difference of opinions, but other than Obama, I mean, France gets it. You've got these European nations are closing their borders. They're really clamping down. And when he was speaking in Turkey the other day, these reporters were even asking questions. You could tell they couldn't even figure out where he was coming from. Like, you said, they're contained. What do you think now? It just seems like he refuses to acknowledge what everybody else acknowledges, and he doubles down and he's putting our security on the line in order to try and prove that he believes he's right.
Nick, we are all seeing, every one of your listeners is seeing that a certain variety of liberal, the Obama, McCaskill, Nixon, left liberal, puts political correctness ahead of the national security of the people of the United States. They are more concerned about what somebody might say about them than they are about protecting Americans, protecting Missourians. And I think the people of this state and America are looking for a sharp U-turn change next year and head in the other direction.
Lieutenant Governor,
but a lot of damage could be done before then.
Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, one final question. I know you have to go, and appreciate you being with us this morning. I'm usually pretty good at figuring out why it is people do what they do and why Democrats do what they do, but I just have grappled with this one because there is so much on the line. And one of the reasons that I'm wondering because I understand the political correctness, and I know there's a degree of that, but I think this is just so stark, though, so much on the line. I wonder if part of it isn't because Republicans are saying we need to stop this, if the instinct is just be opposed to it because Republicans are for it. Do you think some of that is in there as well?
Well, it may, but there's at least one Democratic governor that joined us from New Hampshire. So I want to hear from more Democrats. Do they stand with Obama or do they stand with the people of Missouri? Yeah.
Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, thank you, sir. I appreciate it greatly. You have a good rest of your day, okay?
You too.
All right, bye now. We're going to take a quick break. State Rep.